What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, R8 Trading, where I try and teach you how to code profitable trading bots. So this video is going to be the first in a series of creating a Martingale grid trading system. So for anyone that doesn't know, the way that works is, say you buy here, but price is coming down, so you're in drawdown. So here you buy again, but with so this is one contract, here you buy with two. So now your average price is somewhere down here. So basically you're just averaging down. And so if price comes down more, then you down here buy with more than two, and so on until you get a little bump, which is what you're hoping for with price. And that's where you take profit. And then the grid part is because we are, for this strategy, all of these distances are all going to be the same between orders. So basically you're just increasing risk every X amount of points so that when you do get a small bump, you'll be profitable. So the way this strategy is going to work is we're going to have it so that whenever, so if you buy your first here, your TP will be here and the next order will be the same distance away. But then if you come in here and this gets triggered, the next order is going to be this same distance, but then your TP is going to move to where the previous order was. So it's still the same distance here and the same distance here. So essentially it's always going to be a 1-to-1 risk to reward, right? We're buying here, TP here, next order here. So in theory, it should be a 50-50 of getting a 1-to-1. But as you, so the first buy, you have a 50-50 chance of winning. Then the second buy, 50-50. Third buy, 50-50. Fourth, 50-50. So essentially, with this strategy, you should never lose. If you had unlimited money, you would never lose money. But obviously, that's not going to work because eventually you'll get unlucky and price will just go down forever, and there goes your account. So we're going to have also a stop loss to prevent that from happening. But let's get into it. So this is going to be very complex order management. We're going to have to use unmanaged orders. Wait, let me check. No, maybe. No, we actually don't need to use unmanaged orders, but we do need to use advanced order management, which is where we save our orders. Basically, we save the order name. So let's get started, and once we go through it, it'll make a lot more sense. So we're going to do a new strategy. Name is going to be Martingale. And then our entry, I'm going to show you guys exactly what this entry is, but I'm also going to show you, it's just going to be one line to change that when we enter. For this strategy, it's just going to be close over the crossover of a simple moving average. So, but I'll show you guys how to edit it and make it very simple to edit to what you want. So then we are going to need on order updates. And that's it. Now inputs, we don't need too many, but first we're going to have is number of orders. So this is going to be orders. This is going to be basically the max amount of orders that we're going to take before setting our stop loss. So, right, price is going like this. If we take 3 orders, and we'll take 3 buys, and then here will be our stop loss. If we set it to 4 orders, then we can take up to 4 buys and then our stop loss. So pretty simple, but we need to set that. Then we're going to do our TP in ticks. Default will be 25, and this is going to be the space between every single order. So between our TP up here and our next order, and then also the space to our stop loss. And then that's all we need. Next, and generate. I'm going to compile that. And open up Visual Studio. Alright, so we got that opened. Now, let's start the strategy. So I like to take this, Control X, and put this below. And then also, actually I don't think I've done this on this channel yet, but if you just do hashtag region, then you name it. So this will be on order updates. And then hashtag end region. Then that will create just this thing. So you can easily open and close the tab. So first thing we need to enter is our SMA. So we're going to do private SMA. And then, actually, yeah, let's add that as a property. So you can change the period. We'll do SMA period. Order 3 SMA period. Alright. Send it in, set default to do SMA period equals 7. That'll give us a lot of trades just for setting this up. Now, let's finish setting up our indicator. Then we go with this. And then add chart indicator SMA. Alright, so we've got our indicator. Now, there are a couple things we need to do. So, the way this is going to work is we need to set a name for every single order. And to do that, we're just going to name them entry 1, entry 2, entry 3, entry 4, entry 5. So the easiest way to do that I've found, is putting those into a list. So, well, I guess, and this is technically an array. So here's what we need to do. We need to do private double, actually no, order. Then we put this to show that it's an array, and we do entries. So this order array of entries is going to hold all the names of our orders. So basically it's going to be like this: entry 1, entry 2, so on. But the order will make it easy, so all we need to do is entries and then index the first one. So exactly the same as we would an indicator, which is also an array. So next, we also need to store all the entry prices of those arrays. So double entry prices. And this will make it easy, because now index of 1 of the order will match up with index of 1 of the entry prices. Then we need to create our stop loss prices So we'll name that stop price and our target price, which is basically just going to be our TP. These are going to be double. Okay, next, very important, we need to come into here and change the defaults. So, to make it clear, we're going to do first, change this to false. So you want to change that to false on almost every strategy. You can see the help guide for more information, but it'll make your optimizations run faster because it's not saving objects. So what we need is ignore overfill equals true, and not sure why we need that. I have that in my notes to add that, but don't think we need it, but we'll just add it just in case. So now we have that set. We have a number of orders, default of 3 to make it easier when we load it up. And now we need to fill our arrays with data. So entry prices, entry prices. We're going to fill it with a new double of. So here we need to tell it how many orders we want to fill it with, or how many spaces basically. We need, it's like yeah, just the number of places we need to save for data to be put in. So if we put 10, that's going to save 10 spots so we can put data. So this list cannot go larger than 10 if we put 10. So we are going to do, in my notes I just have 11, but we want to make it more dynamic. So we're going to do number of orders. And that should work. And then entries going to be the same. New order, num orders. I'm going to do just +5 for now, just because I don't want to run into any errors and not know where they came from. But we can come back and fix that later. That's just going to hold 5 extra spots of empty space to store data. So it's going to use more space, but barely. Okay, so that is all our defaults set up. Now we need to start the strategy and start calculating the strategy logic. So first is make sure we have enough bars to trade. So if current bar is less than bars required to trade, then we return. Next, hold on. Okay. So now, basically, for the strategy to work, we're going to set it up so that we only have 3 methods that we just call whenever we need it to run. So we're going to have a exit logic method, a go long method, and a go short method. So let's start with the go long method. So first we're going to do is private void go long. So in case you don't know, whatever we put in here, anything we put in here, then on the on bar, if we just call the go long, once we're going through the on bar update, once this line of code is run, then it'll jump to here and run everything in here before it continues back to this line and whatever below it. So first thing we're going to do is we need to calculate no, we don't need to calculate anything. We just, first thing we'll do is just go long. So here is the first time we use the entries 1. We're going to store here as the name for this enter long order. So this is going to store the order name right here, the order ID basically. It's going to be random numbers and letters. Then we want to save our entry prices as the close, because that's right when we are entering. This way we have the close to work with later. And then we also want to print entry 1 filled. So right here, these 3 lines of code are just entering right away as soon as our entry condition is met. And then we're saving everything and printing it. Next thing we need to do is forgot to add this, but we're going to come down to properties and add the basically the first contract. How many contracts we enter on the first order. So we'll just do base contract size minimum of 1, and then base contract. Then base contract equals 1. Okay, sorry. Actually, we do not need that. So take that out. But we're going to do up here. No. That's, yeah, leave that. We do want to have that saved so that we can edit it in case you do want to double up. Also, just remember, we need to do entry handling. Change that to entry handling to unique entries. This will let us have different entries, as more than one entry, as long as they have different names. If they all have the same name, then it won't let us have them. But with unique entries, now we can do more positions as long as they have different names. So now back to the go long. We're gonna now we have our base contracts, which we are going to set as the contracts for this specific time. So base contract is 1, and we just entered with one contract here. We need to input that to make sure it actually is 1. So quantity base contract. There we go. Because we need to do this so that we can double it and keep changing the amount of contracts we enter without changing our base contract, because we want our base contract to stay the same throughout the whole time for the next time we enter position. So here's where the strategy can get a little tricky. So here is the code. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to loop through all of our orders that we want and place orders for all of them. So this needs to be number of orders, and then TP and ticks, TP and ticks, and so basically this is a for loop. So what it does, in case you don't know, is we start out setting integer I, so the variable I equals 2. Now when I is less than num orders plus 5, then we're going to run through this everything in the brackets, and then I adds 1. So we run through this for loop once, then we come back, I is got added 1, so now I is 3. We run through it again, I is now 4, 5, keep running through it until this is no longer true. Then we stop. Then in here, this is so here, this should only trigger when they're equal. No. So this is just a double check to make sure that we want the right number of orders. So when I is 2 in the first run, yes, it's less than num orders, and then we run through everything. So this will also stop it after we have all the orders that we want. So for this, basically this is where the arrays come and help a lot, because our entry prices, we just put I, and since I the first time is 2, next time it's 3, next time 4, 5, 6, etc. Makes it very easy to just run through all this quick and dynamically. So then for entry prices of the current position, we take the entry price of the last position. So we'll run through everything as if I is 2. So here, entry price is 2 is going to be entry prices 2 minus 1, so 1, which we have up here. Entry price is 1, we set as close of 0, minus TP and ticks, normalizing it to the tick size. So this finds our new TP. Then our stop price is same thing. This new entry price is 2, entry price is 2, minus TP and ticks, normalizing it to get our stop price. Now, here we don't do anything with our stop price. We just we just want to save this variable, save the price that we want. And as we keep running through this, the stop price is going to eventually get to, I is 5, and then we subtract that. So it'll always be where we want it to then later set the stop price. Then our entry, same thing. I is 2, so entry is 2. That's going to be our order ID for this. And then here we have our contracts, which at the time of here is still 1, which if you do the math, if you buy here, right, we buy 1, then price comes down to our second order here, and now price comes back. This is where we'll exit. And so this order was 0, and this order had +1. That makes sense. Distance, right? Because it came back to break even. This order made profit, so we are in profit. So that's why it's 1 the first time. But then after that, look at here. We take contracts 1, in this case 1, multiply by 2. So now when int is 3, next time we run through this, right? Int is 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, but now its contracts is 1 times 2. So now contract is 2 here, and then we run through it again, multiply by 2, and now it's 4. We run through this, int is 4, and then so that's how the contracts adjusting would work. So it's going to multiply by 2, so it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 32, 64, and so on, so on. And that is how we can make sure we have the right sizing so that whenever we get this small jump, we will always be in profits as soon as we get back to the price where the previous order had been. Does that make sense? Then we just want to print that it's all working. And that's it for our go long. Now we want to do the exact same thing for going short, just reversing it. So I already explained it as best I could here. So in this one, I'm just gonna copy and paste it and let you guys, if you're following along, hopefully, which is the goal, so you guys actually have this code, then you guys can just, copy this and it should work. And there we go. Now we have our go short. How do I do that? Shift tab. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So I have, this is just does the exact same thing, but we are setting short limits. So let's compile this. And I think that'll be it for this video. We're just gonna check, and it should take orders. It won't manage them properly because we haven't set that up yet, or exit them properly. But we should at least get one spot where it takes an order. So let's load it up on the chart. And now we have, actually it will not at the moment. We need to call those. So we're going to do, for this strategy, we're using very simple SMA. So if close, cross above SMA and close the last bar, and we go long, else if cross below SMA, close last bar, and we go short. Compile that, Control S. Now let's load that up, and hopefully we should get at least one order showing up. So now we have our num orders 3, 5, CP6, that's my period, base contract size, apply.
Order submitted.
Enable. Okay, so yeah, now it's taking unlimited orders because we don't have any way of exiting them, which makes sense. But let's see if we can't track it a little bit to really see what's going on. So here we have our first position, long entry 1, then entry. Oh, what happened?
Order submitted.
Yeah, so here we have our entry 1, entry 2, entry 3, and then yeah, so our orders entering are working, but they're obviously not exiting correctly because we haven't done that yet. But not sure why that's happening. But in this case, it would have been buy here, and we would have taken profit here, unless this one actually comes to here first. So hard to tell, but yeah, thanks for watching. This is going to be part 1. Hopefully you guys can follow along. Part 2, leave in the comments if anything's confusing. Part 2, I'll clear it up a little bit. And yeah, thanks for watching. And hope you found value. Like and subscribe. And yeah, take care. Peace.